Hi, today's date is July 6th, 2021. For today's video source inspection, we have a fully refurbished 870S spin rinser dryer, or SRD for short, with PSC-101 controllers. Due to confidentiality, I will not share my customer's identity with you, but for their identification of this tool, the PO number is 230-149-83, and the customer is located in Colorado. Before we get started, we'll show you what we're working with. We have N2 purging into the bowl and a full cassette of wafers, 6-inch. And if we go down low, warm N2 purging in the bowl. Well, actually just normal N2. We haven't ran the recipe yet. It will be warm at the end. And a full cassette of 6-inch wafers. We're going to run a recipe today to show the functionality of this tool. I'm going to discuss our refurbishment process for SRDs, our spare parts and service support, as well as mention some equipment we provide outside of the SRD you might have not known about unless you've been looking at our YouTube channel a little more closely. So let's try to start these at the same time. Perfect. So we have a minute-long rinse before we go into our purge. Then we stay at a high RPM after our purge for dry 1 before slowing it down for dry 2 at a lower RPM. So we got water falling down the windows. When we speed up, the water will start swirling in a circular motion, and there will be less and less water droplets as the recipe progresses. 30 seconds to go. Every SRD that comes to Sitek for refurbishment goes through the same extensive refurbishment process. First, we take the SRD heads and break them down to the component level. If the customer sends us poly, we will first remove the heads from the poly and then break them down to the component level. Once all parts are broken down, we will chemically clean and electropolish all metal parts as well as inspect and test all parts for function. So we're about to speed up and you're going to see the water swirl around on the windows as we enter our purge. Yep. So now it's going in a circle, and as the recipe goes on, less and less and less water. We're now in our dry 1 for the next minute and a half. Right now, we're at a high speed because we want to sling as much excess water off of the cassette and rotor and wafers as much as we can before we slow it down and really let our heaters do the work in our dry 2 and physically dry them. Once all parts are prepped, we build head assemblies from the ground up. Once we bailed up the bare head assembly to completion, the first quality control checkpoint is our dry test. This is where we inspect and test the SRD and all parts for full function without the facilities installed yet. Step 2 is our wet test, our wet QC checkpoint. This is where we do our test and inspection with facilities installed. So we are halfway through our dry 1. As you can see, there are substantially less droplets of water, and they're just going to slowly go away. Once the tool passes our dry test, the next step is our final test, which is the configuration you see before you today. This is how the tool is going to look when it's installed in our customer's fab. In final test, we film a video source inspection. Customers often like to accept the tool by watching the video before we ship. Then we also will do over 50 various process recipes, which we call burn-in testing. Different speeds, different RPMs, anything that makes sure that the tools are ready for anything our customers throw at them once they're installed in the fab. All right, we're in our dry 2, less water. Tool's running really smooth, really quiet. Our customers can be very happy. So far, all is good with this tool. So just under 4 minutes to go. In addition to providing and refurbishing semi-tool SRDs, we are the OEM for Vertec SRDs, which we bought that product line from Martech a couple of years back. If you need any spare parts for semi-tool or Vertec, you can give us a phone call at 916-797-9000. View our catalog at www.sitekprocess.com, where you can submit a formal RFQ, or you can email us directly at sales@sitekprocess.com. So let's talk spare parts. We are the worldwide leader in semi-tool spare parts and service. We can provide 100% of the spare parts and repairs necessary for the upkeep of your semi-tool SRDs. Repairs we provide include rotor balances, motor repairs, controller repairs, as well as amp repairs. This includes the LC4 and LC5 amps for controllers, 101, 102, 228, and 328. Then all these parts I mentioned we can provide in new or refurbished condition as well. Those are the larger components. But we provide 100% of the spare parts needed, such as windows, door seals, start and stop switches, door switches, pressure switches, ACR valves, solenoid valves, N2 filters, anti-static modules, heater blankets, N2 heater cartridges, tack sensors, isolation grommets, the rotor stop positioner, which is also the RSP for short. We'll get to that part back at the end of the cycle here shortly. RSP, keep that in mind. Then any part you can think of, all the tubing, rotor retaining bar tubing, 100% spare parts means 100% spare parts. So just under 2 minutes. That's a very thorough explanation of all the parts we can provide. Let's talk about equipment. We provide SRDs, that's our bread and butter. We've been doing it over 20 years, but we provide a multitude of other wafer fab equipment for the front end. This includes HDC box washers such as the HDC 8010, 8020, and 8030. Mask cleaners, including the K and S and Ultra T models. Metrology tools such as profilometers, ellipsometers, resistivity, and more. Barrel ashers and etchers, YS ovens, a variety of microscopes, and we also have some spray solvent tools available as well. Now, we have a ton of equipment. I'm sure that there are some things you may be interested that we may actually be able to provide. So our website, www.sitekprocess.com, and our sales team are good resources for you. So we just have under a minute left. We do have controller upgrade available. It's called the Slick Device Controller. It is an upgrade for F model and S models like this for the SRDs. It can replace a 102 or a 101 controller. We have a great demo, and obviously we just worked on some for a different customer right next door to the one we're looking at today. Our company president, Jim Mulaney, has a 20-minute training video on our YouTube channel that is worth a watch. The capabilities of the controller are fantastic. But I'll let Jim and our controller speak for themselves as we have limited time. 15 seconds left. We don't want to open the door early. When the clock strikes 0, it's not safe to open the door. We need that RSP I mentioned earlier to fire the rotor into the 12 o'clock position. But that's not all. We also need the door seal to release all air. So at 75 RPMs, that's when the RSP fires. There's the RSP. Once we're in 12 o'clock, the door seal will release air and it'll be safe to open the door. We don't want to cause any unneeded damage. So let's open it up. We have warm N2 purging into the bowl. Residual droplets of water in the bowl, which is a good thing. You don't want a bone dry bowl. Cassette is warm to the touch and wafers are completely dry. A successful process run in the top chamber. Let's move down. Warm N2 purging into the bowl. Residual droplets of water in the bowl. Cassette is warm to the touch. And the wafers are completely dry in the bottom chamber. So if we had a successful recipe in the top chamber and the bottom chamber, that means this was a successful run of our customer's SRD. They're going to be extremely happy to receive this back and plug it into their fab. We thank you for watching today's video. We'll see you next time.